You know, my best memory growing up in Woodlands District in Jamaica was Christmas in 1959, the year before I migrated to the United States. As soon as we said goodbye to November, Christmas breeze a blow, and everybody starts saying, Happy Christmas! And the usual response is, when it comes. But everybody got pep in their step and big cleaning going on because company is coming. The currants and raisins that Granny has been soaking in white rum for months now make their way into the batter. And she is making our Christmas fruitcake. She would pour the batter into the Dutch pot and make a fire not only on the bottom but on the top because we didn't have an oven. And Earl and I had to blow on those hot coals for about an hour until the cake was done. And when the cake came out, Granny would yell, Hell at top, hell at bottom, but hallelujah in the middle. And then she would give us a little piece to reward us for all our work. But when company came, in addition to all the hugs and kisses and how are you, we would sit down in the living room to eat and drink and laugh and talk, but children couldn't interrupt. Children had to stay quiet unless Granny would call on us to sing a song or recite a Bible passage or recite a poem. My favorite poem was Spanish Needle by Claude McKay. Lovely, dainty Spanish needle with your yellow flowers and white, with dew bedecked and softly sleeping. Will you think of me tonight? Then the great day would arrive, and we would be awakened with boom, 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 fire clappers going off everywhere. And that would be our signal that Christmas has finally arrived. And then Granny would invite us into the kitchen, and she would break a dozen eggs and separating the yolk from the white, and she would add the brown sugar to the yolk and give it to me to rub. And then she would give the whites to my brother, and he would have to whip it up to make it fluffy. And when the sugar and the yolk was nice and creamy, she would add the hot milk, a bottle of stout, some nutmeg and cinnamon, and then she would finally put in the egg whites. And Lord, that was some concoction. But as soon as we're drinking our concoction, our rum punch, the choir would be heard coming down the road, and they would be singing Christmas carols. So we run out on the veranda and we start singing with the choir. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. And as soon as the choir is departed, we go back inside because we're going to exchange presents. Now Earl and I bought a little flask of brandy for my granny because Granny likes to have a little nip before she goes to bed. I gave Earl a sock with some marbles in it. And he gave me something that I didn't readily recognize. So I'd say, what this? It looked like a pig bladder. And he said, yes, it is, but it's also a balloon. Blow it up, man. And I would say, no, you first. And as he had tied a string to one end of the hog maw, and then he would put a straw in the other side, and he blew it up. And sure enough, it turned out to be a balloon. So all morning we would blow it up and let the air out. And finally, when we got bored with it, we would cut it up in little pieces, mix some onion, garlic, and Scotch bonnet pepper in it, and fry it up, man. And we'd eat it with some hard dough bread for lunch. That was a great Christmas present. But then Granny says, you know, you don't want to be late going to the community picnic. So we would say, yes, Granny, and we would put on our clothes and we would be running down to the community picnic. And when we got there, everything was already in full swing. Um, the merry-go-round was going. The veterans from World War II were marching with their ill-fitting uniforms and wooden guns. And the banjo and the band would be playing Tande Missa Goosey Tande, Tande Missa Goosey Tande. And people were dancing, some in stilts, some in Jankuno costumes, and they would be just jumping up and down. But the high point for us was the donkey race. My brother Earl was determined he was going to win this year. And but as soon as he jumped on that donkey, the donkey kicked up his heels and knocked him to the ground, and boom. So is he dead? I went up and juke him. I said, Earl, you dead? And a man said, no, he just got the wind knocked out of him. So I went and got a cocoa leaf, and I'm fanning him. And a lady came over and put a wet rag on his forehead. And I'm getting really worried. I'm starting to almost cry. And I said, Earl, wake up now. And finally he opened his eyes. He said, hard man for dead. And he comes out and he's treated to great applause and everybody big him up, glad to see him back. But he's just in time for the maypole dance. So we grabbed the ribbon with about 20 other people and danced in and out until we were all wrapped up. We were tired. Our bellies were full from eating jerk pork and rum raisin ice cream and drinking sorrel, and we were ready to go home. Christmas comes but once a year, but when it comes, it brings good cheer.